and Kailea were tasked to read the story Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu. And this is going to be our presentation of the history of origami, its significance, and we will be teaching you how to make an origami crane at the end. All right, my name is Sarah Guido. This is my last semester at CCBC. I'm a business administration major.
I'm Megan Karcheski, and I'm a nursing major.
All right.
So first we just started with like a summary of what the story is about, and it's basically about this little boy, and his mother is Chinese and his father is American, and his father bought his mother from a Chinese magazine, and when he was little, his mom started making him origami animals, which he thought were real life and would move and everything. And they were really special to his mother since she grew up in China, but kids at his school started picking on him and causing him to hate the origami, which made him hate his mom. And then his mom got really sick and ended up passing away. She left all the origamis that she made for him in a box. And then after she passed away, he found that there was little notes inside of each origami. And he found this Chinese woman to translate it for him, and he realized the significance behind the paper animals after he read all the notes. A little bit of history of the origami. It came from two Japanese words. I'm not sure if I'm going to say these right, but ori meaning folded and kami meaning paper. It was first called the orkata. I don't know if I said that right, but it transitioned into origami in the 1880s. It was originally limited to the privileged class for religious rituals and formal ceremonies because of the expensive paper. And this name, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, is the father of the modern origami, and it was inspired the national and international interest of origami.
So origami has been seen as a symbol of healing through Chinese and Japanese cultures. In Hiroshima, Japan, school children visit the monument for the child victims of Hiroshima, adorned with a statue of Sadako Sasaki holding up an origami crane. Sadako was a Japanese girl who became a victim of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki by the United States. She was only 2 years old when the bombs were dropped and was severely irradiated. She unfortunately died at the age of 12 from leukemia due to these attacks. Before her death, she learned of the history of the Japanese folklore that says that cranes can live for 1,000 years, and any person who folds 1,000 origami cranes will have their life's wish granted. This story inspired Sadako, and before she died, unfortunately, she was only able to complete 644 cranes, but her family finished the remaining cranes to get to 1,000, and she was actually buried with all of these cranes. So Sadako's cranes have been sent all over the world to places that have seen tragedy and great loss, and there's actually one of Sadako's original cranes in the 9/11 Memorial in New York City. So in the significance to the paper menagerie, Jack didn't grow up immersed in Chinese culture. He saw it as a part of himself that made him an outcast. He saw it as something that he wanted to put away in a box, and he took the life out of these paper animals once he saw the judgment that other students in his American school gave him. His mother, before this judgment, he saw this life and the beauty in the origami, and his favorite was a Japanese little tiger that his mom made him. But once he hung out and played with an American boy who kind of made fun of him and said, "Why don't you have Legos? Where are all your toys?" The significance to Jack was that he didn't want to be Chinese anymore. He wanted to compartmentalize this part of himself, and he tried to diminish all the Chinese parts of himself. After the loss of his mother, origami was a way to reconnect to his mother. So he spent so much of his life trying to diminish these parts of his mother, and he refused to speak Chinese, and he just didn't want this to be a part of his life. So once he realized that his mother was much more than he ever knew, he used origami to reconnect to her. He found these animals and he read this long letter that his mom wrote to him. So once Jack had his own son, he taught him how to fold origami and the significance of it. And through Jack, he breathed new life into his son with this immersion of his Chinese culture yet again. So what does the paper menagerie symbolize? It symbolizes his childhood. So animals were given life through the magic of youth in Jack's life, and Jack allowed opinions of other people to crush them. So another symbolism through this story is Jack's cyclical relationship with his Chinese culture. In the beginning of his life, before other opinions and other people's opinions of Jack and his mother came in, Jack had a great relationship with his Chinese culture. And then he realized it was something that ostracized him from his peers. And then he refused it and he pushed it away as much as he could. After his mother's passing, the cycle came back and he realized that there was so much that he wasn't able to learn because he didn't share his mother's tongue and he didn't share his mother's language. And then he restarted the cycle with his son by trying to teach him the importance of accepting who you are and being proud of his Chinese culture.
And things that we can learn from origami: in the mid-1900s, origami became the popular art form. And in China, paper folding was used for ceremonial purposes and it became worldwide. Origami was not the only impact on Chinese culture, it impacted the whole world. It had a positive impact for everybody. Origami helps children better understand the importance through cooperative learning, and it also helps with thinking skills, hand-eye coordination, fine motor skills, and mental concentration.
All right, so for us to learn from origami, me and Megan are going to demonstrate how to fold your own paper crane. While we aren't as skilled as Sadako was before her death, the goal for this is to end up with a crane that looks a little bit like this. So for this demonstration, you can use just printer paper, which it is 8 by 11, and for origami, you need to have a square. So to start out, I'm going to put my camera down so you can see. Start out with your paper like this, fold the corner down, like this. Okay, and then take a pair of scissors and cut off the excess to start with a square. And throughout the story of the paper menagerie, Jack's mother did use wrapping paper that she saved, so it could be pretty, and there's a lot of meaning to the origami paper that is used. So then you fold it the other direction, so then you have a set of diagonal folds that look a little bit like this. Then, to move on, you take this, point the square towards you, fold it hamburger style. So then you make a rectangle, crease this, open it up, square facing you, fold it forward. So then now you will have two diagonal folds in the middle of your paper. It'll look like this. Okay, look a little bit like this. You'll see all the diagonal folds. Okay, and then once you have it here, turn it diagonal. So now you have the diamond facing you. You will take, you'll see how the paper will naturally try to fold in like this. So take in like this. And then push down this top corner. And then you'll end up with something that looks a lot like this diamond. You'll have these folds. There'll be these two middle sections. And right here, keep the middle sections facing you. And then from here, this is the part that I think is the most difficult. It takes a little bit of practice, but you fold like this, and then you're going to fold the insides in. Fold like this to meet the center and crease down. Fold in to meet the center, crease down. I'll show you like this. You have something like this, and then you fold it flat. And then from here, flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. All right, so then you have something that looks like this on both sides, like this, okay? And then from here on the bottom, where you have these two separate folds, keep those towards you. Fold from this corner. I'm trying my best. You fold from this corner into the center. From here into the center fold. So you get something that looks a little bit like this. Okay? From here, center fold. You should end up with something that looks like this. Okay? Now flip over. Do the same thing on the other side. From here, center fold, center fold. Now you have these two sections like this. All right. Now from here, you have these. Hold it to the side. The folded parts hold together what you just folded. Hold together what you just folded. And then this is how you are inverting to get a shape that looks like this. The two ends down here, like this. And then from here, fold this section down. Fold this section down. Okay. We're left with something that looks like this, these two top parts. All right, you're almost at the end now. Okay. Go like this. Oh. Okay. And like this to pull out your ends. And then you just fold down the legs. I made a misstep somewhere, so this one's kind of deformed, gonna be honest. And it looks like this, but it should look like this. Megan, if you have any tips that you'd like to share in what you found through making paper cranes, but I can go through that process again because this one looks kind of funky.
Honestly, I'm not sure where you messed up, but I did notice, like,
right in my mind.
I did notice she might have missed this up, but if you look it up, you can easily make a whole bunch of them. But I also found that when you're folding the paper, it doesn't have to be perfect. Like in the videos, if you ever watch the videos, they make it look like the folds have to be completely perfect, and promise you, you don't have to have them perfect and it'll still look the same. So
and the beauty of origami is that there's so much to learn through the diligence. I got very frustrated while trying to learn how to make a crane. And I'm sure that Jack, when he tried to reassimilate himself in Chinese culture, there was a big frustration into reaccepting parts of himself that he tried to deny for so long. And the beauty in origami and what Sadako Sasaki tried to spread the message of is there is so much to learn through the patience and persistence in making 1,000 cranes, and that's how you truly reach that wish that you want to achieve. And even though it is just folklore, there's so much beauty to the story of the paper menagerie and the cyclical relationship of a Chinese American's perspective on their Chinese culture mixing with their American culture. If anyone has any questions, me and Megan will be happy to answer. But I definitely encourage you all to try and make your own paper crane. They are beautiful once you get the hang of it, and maybe I'll try and go to 1,000, but who knows.
And there were origami grab-and-go bags available in both the library and the student center. I'm not sure. Terry, are there still some left in the library? I'm not sure if she heard me, but there were some available, so you're welcome to help yourselves.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, that is all that Meg and I have. We can stay on for any more questions that you all have, but thank you so much, and I greatly encourage you all to try and make your own paper crane. I know, the one that I made with this, I definitely missed a step. It looks so odd. I did a great one earlier. This one actually looks pretty textbook. Megan, yours looked great. You know what? Just for the fun of it all, I'll try again. Let's see. Okay.
Terry said there are 4 bags left in the library, so I think there are some also in the student center too, if you're interested. And there's extra origami paper there too.
I'm sure that origami paper would make it a little bit easier to fold. Computer paper is a little bit tough. All right, let's see. And from here, this.
This is the step where I lost you.
This, yeah. So you're supposed to go like this, and then fold in, kind of like, oh my god, my hands are in the way. But you fold this part into this part into here, so that you're left with like a triangle shape. Then you just like press it down. Like that. It's a little rough getting there. See, this is where it goes wrong. Oh no, I'm giving up. Not that one. That was a bad attempt. Megan, you having better luck?
We're getting there. Where it goes.
My favorite tutorial that I found was from Origami Tsunami on YouTube. He had a great tutorial. He used highlighters and everything.
Yes, that's the one I used. Let's see.
All right, well, that is all I have. Megan, do you have anything else?
No, I don't think so. I do recommend reading the story, though. I do like it.
Are there any questions for our presenters?
I did drop the story in the chat if anyone wants to read it. It's a PDF, so you can just print it out.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining us today.
Thank you. This was amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
See everyone.
Megan, Sarah, can you hold on just a minute?
Yep.